Hey guys, it's Sam, and today I'm going to talk about my TBR for an upcoming spooky readathon. This video may be tinged with genuine fear because I'm filming in a basement, which is where I've been filming since February, and I'm pretty sure there's a mouse down here. There was one seen in the fireplace the other day, fireplace that we don't use. And yeah, this is why I usually live with cats. But since my mom's allergic, I don't have that luxury. I'm not really actually scared of mice, I just don't want it to be like cornering me. I just don't want to see it in my home. But anyway, this video is my TBR for the Hocus Pocus Readathon. Yes, you heard right. I saw this listed on like an October readathon list and I was like, I have to do that. And I looked at the prompts and they all fit with books that I was hoping to read in October anyway, so it's perfect, and it's a month-long readathon. And this was started by Tiffy and Alyssa. I will link the Hocus Pocus Readathon Twitter, and their Twitters are linked on that so you can get all the information. But this is a month-long readathon for all of October. This is a team-based readathon, so you sign up and acquire points for your team. The three teams are the Sanderson sisters, the Undead, and the Trick-or-Treaters. I really want to do the Sanderson sisters. Sisters? But I think that the Team Undead had the prompts that fit best for me, and I also wanted a prompt that was for Binks, because my cat Binks is named after that Binks, even though my Binks is not black. But Hocus Pocus is one of my favorite movies of all time, and definitely my favorite Halloween movie. Okay, so for Team Undead, the prompts are, there's a group book, which I may or may not read. It's Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, which I am interested in. However, I have a lot of books on my shelf, again, because I just got books for my birthday. So I'm trying not to buy new books. The other alternative to Cemetery Boys is The Bone Witch by Rin Chapeko, which I've also wanted to read for a very long time. I don't know. I could get these from the library. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on if I get through my other spoopy books before, and then I'll probably read these. So the prompt for Binks is read a book that has to do with family. And for this I have House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. This is a dark 12 Dancing Sisters, I think, is the retelling of this. This is basically like all the sisters in this house are being like murdered, but they're sneaking out to go like dancing with probably like the Fae or something. And it's more like a haunted house, haunting something take on that. I hear this is kind of creepy. This is funny. I'm actually gonna do like a little side note. This time last year, I absolutely would not have been able to read any of these books. A lot of these books I've had on my shelf since this time last year, and I was in such a bad anxiety flare in the fall of last year that even thinking about these books was impossible. So these are books that I've like put off for quite some time, but now I like actively want to read them. That's why mental health is so crazy, because it's just like I could have not even imagined a world last year where I could have read these books, and now I'm like, mentally I feel like okay to read them. It's wild. Tell me last year that I'm gonna be fine. The second prompt is for Billy, who's like the zombie boyfriend. Read a book with a morally gray character. And for this, I'm finally gonna finish Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is a book I got like almost halfway through. I was right here. So I read this much. So like nearly halfway through, was really liking it, but it was right when I was flaring, and it's had some triggering content in it for me when I'm in an anxiety flare, and it was bad news. So I couldn't do it. But now I'm like, I think I'll be fine. It's a wild world, okay? But this features lesbian necromancers in space. It is a like spooky space. They have control over the dead. Gideon is definitely like a more morally gray, slash like all the characters are kind of morally gray. Yeah, I might have to reread this from the beginning, but I do remember a lot of it. So who knows? But I want to finish this up and see what my like true feelings are, because I was enjoying it when I was reading it last year. Then for Emily, as in Emily Binks, we have read a book about ghosts or the paranormal. Again, a thing I would never think I could do. And this is actually a book that I wasn't sure I was ever going to read. Now, I could still not finish this book because there is so much triggering content in this, but I'm at least in a mental space to attempt it. And that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I know, even earlier this year I was like, I'm not gonna read that book ever. But now my mental health is in a good spot. I'm on medication. I'm in a really like stable environment. Like even if this book freaks me out, I feel like I can just put it aside and be like, okay. Hopefully that's not famous last words. But I don't know. At this point, I'm more afraid that I'm just not gonna like this than anything else. So we'll see. I'm kind of saving this one for like last, just to make sure that these other books don't like freak me out too much. I don't know. I'm still like, I don't know, spookiness, but I think these are all books in the spooky realm that I could still read. And if I'm at least willing to attempt this, then I'm gonna try it. 9th house. And this has to do with like secret societies at Yale where people can see ghosts. Our main character can see ghosts. They're doing stuff with like spoopy things. It's all spooky, and there's like a ton of trigger warnings for this. We'll see. And then each team has a strength and a weakness. So the Team Undead strength is you are now the ghost of Emily Banks. No one can see you. You get to be stealthy. You may double up on one prompt of your choosing. So for that, I'm going to double up on the paranormal prompt and read The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This is the second book in the Beautiful, I think it's going to be like a quartet possibly, I think was what people said when I did my review of The Beautiful. But this is a New Orleans paranormal series. The first book doesn't have a lot of paranormal stuff, but the end of the first book had a lot of introductions to paranormal stuff. So this is probably going to have like more like vampires, potentially some other creatures, but like definitely vampires in this book. So this is my paranormal second pick. And then the weakness is, unfortunately, Billy only has 24 hours until he must go back to his grave. You must have a 24-hour readathon. So for that, sometime in October, I'm going to try to attempt to have a 24-hour readathon. And I think what I'll do there is catch up on my comics that I had been wanting to catch up on this whole year. Because I actually was talking about that earlier and I was like, ooh, I don't know I'm ever going to do that. And then this came up and I was like, ooh, perfect. So potentially I'll be rereading and catching up on the ones that I have of Saga, The Wicked and the Divine, maybe Descender, and probably Monstrous. So that's the plan for the 24-hour readathon, just to read a shit ton of comics. In addition to all of this, throughout the month, I'm also probably going to be participating in the Witchathon, which is run by Rhiannon and won't be until the end of the month. I think it's like the week of like Halloween, but those prompts aren't listed yet. So I'll probably do like a follow-up video when those prompts are listed to talk about that closer to that readathon. But that readathon, Witchathon, doesn't tend to have necessarily like spooky prompts. So this features my like spooky prompt list. And then there might be some overlap with the Witchathon books, I don't know. But this is my tentative, like these are the only spooky books on my shelf. These are the only spooky books on my shelf. So that is it for my Hocus Pocus Readathon TBR. Comment down below, let me know if you're participating, let me know if you're reading any spooky books, no horror books. I mean, if you are, that's great for you. I don't read horror. This is as scary as I get. This is the top of the list for me. I don't get any spookier than this. So thank you all for watching and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.